I feel like here everything is taking you to schedule, like the gym, the food, the social life, you know, like everything.
The Dutch people are a low context, very direct communication culture.
But I had this hangover of coming from Netherlands to India, and I would...
Hey guys, what's up? Vade Chronicles here today. And guys, this is part 2 of the Reverse Culture Shocks video, which I uploaded earlier this week. So if you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. And for those of you guys who are wondering what Reverse Culture Shock is, let me explain for you guys. So I'm from Zimbabwe, and I've been in the Netherlands for a bit of time now. So I'd say I'm pretty used to the Dutch culture now. So now what happens is when I go back to Zimbabwe, I experience a few culture shocks of my own, even though that's actually where I'm from. So now that you get Reverse Culture Shock, stay tuned and let's watch the video. And the first question is, where are you guys from?
Belgium. Also from Belgium.
So I'm from Poland.
Okay.
I'm from Singapore.
I'm from India.
I'm from Spain.
I am from Greece.
I'm from Zimbabwe.
I'm from Mexico City.
And now, so we're going to be talking about reverse culture shocks.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the biggest reverse culture shock that you've gone through since you moved to the Netherlands compared to India?
So very many, but amongst all of them, there's one, which is like, the public transport. So over here, that we have like a very efficient public transport. You can take it, you always get a seat, etc. It's super convenient and very well connected. When I do that back home, so I've stayed here for 3 years now, and whenever I travel back to my country and to my friends' surprise, I'd be like, no, but I will take the metro, which is almost like a tram over here.
Okay.
And I'd be like, no, I would take that because it's so convenient. I'll check the timings and everything. What I forget is neither are things on as time as they are over here. And they're super crowded. So I would end up in a situation back home that the public transport is not as efficient, but I had this hangover of coming from Netherlands to India, and I would end up taking. My friends make fun of it because in India we have our own vehicles, or we would
You have your own what, sorry?
vehicles. We would have our own cars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or we would almost Uber it all the time.
Okay.
But over here, like, because of the public transport, I'd be like, no, it's inexpensive, it's cheaper. But yeah, bad decision. So yeah, I think that would be one of the things.
Yeah, that's very, I agree with you actually. It's quite similar for me back home. You said you've got a few. Do you have any more that you're thinking of, or?
Yeah, like, I think, food would also be one of them, because over here, like, a simple meal could be like slapping 2 toast and like cheese and ham, and that's it. So when I'd be back home, I would probably skip a warm meal and just take that, like, because in India we always eat a warm meal. So I think I would just be like, okay with the sandwich. So that would be probably another one of those things.
Okay, cool. And just for people watching in India, what are the modes of public transport that you can use?
You can Uber. You can, you have metros, you have public buses, you pretty much have the same infrastructure as you would in any other country, but it's just super inefficient. It doesn't work. It's broken. Like, the system over here is super efficient. You have this one card and everything, but over there it's not half as efficient as here.
And I think the last culture shock that I want to talk about is more nuanced. You can't really see it like in your face, like the weather or contactless payment. But I want to talk about let me say this. Zimbabwe is a high context, indirect communication culture, whereas the Dutch people are a low context, very direct communication culture. When I came to the Netherlands, I became very direct. So when I went back to Zimbabwe, I noticed that I was more direct, and I wasn't following how the Shona culture is more indirect, and there's contextual cues, and you have to see the social behavior, how someone looks at you matters. You can't just approach anything or say anything to any elder or person just because you feel like saying it. You have to know who you're talking to and the level of respect you owe to them before you speak to them. Whereas here, it does not matter.
I can imagine that probably got you in a bit of trouble. Do you have any stories to share, or?
I mean, I don't think I particularly have a story, but I think more so on this side in the Netherlands, I've been in shock of the directness of Dutch people.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, how can you actually say that? Like, how can you just say that so direct? They'll say something so bluntly to you, you'll actually think they're being rude, but it's just their culture.
Interesting. I can already, I'm Zimbabwean as well, so I definitely have the same thing.
Exactly.
And I know when I go back, I'm way more direct and people will kind of feel offended a bit.
I think the biggest one, and I told it, she's my cousin actually, and I told it this morning, is that, and nothing to the Dutch people, but, during lunchtime, they always eat bread and cheese. And that's for a Belgian person, you want to have a proper lunch and, like good food and something good that is heavy to eat. And I think that's one of the biggest difference in the catering world, I would say.
Okay. For me, I moved here like quite recently. So I thought like Belgian culture and Dutch culture is quite similar. So what do you guys like eat for lunch per se?
I mean, we had lunch now and it was like bacon, bread, it was eggs. I mean, like proper food, you know, like it's something that will keep you during the day.
Okay. So the biggest difference you'd say is the food.
I would say probably the food, and also there are some language barriers. For example, we say, voormiddag, namiddag, which is the morning and the afternoon. But they, speak of completely different words. I don't even remember what the words are, but they refer to it in another way. The parts of the day are referred in a different way than how we say it. Namiddag, voormiddag is something that is not said.
And in Belgium, they speak what language?
Flemish.
Flemish.
And French. Oh my God, I forgot that. I'm from the Flemish part, she's from the French part. Hello.
So you were referring to Flemish versus Dutch just now, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
not entire Belgium. She might be better to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could say goodbye in Flemish, because I've never heard Flemish in my life.
Goodbye in Flemish. Well,
Or something to end the video, you know?
Geniet van jullie dag en tot de volgende.
Okay. And that means what?
Enjoy your day and see you next time.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so for me, the scheduling thing, I'm so like, what are you doing now? What are you doing today? And for me, it's so difficult, like, to plan what are you gonna do in 2 weeks. So, yeah.
I would say the same for me. That was one of them at the beginning. It was hard to get used to it. But also, because I lived in Athens, there's a lot of noise and car horning and everyone is rushing and so on and so forth. But in this country, everyone is so chill. Everyone's taking the bike. It's very quiet, generally, the city. And I quite like it, this way.
Okay, so are you talking about like, when you say the horning, like when you're driving, like road anger and
Just imagine like, let's say South Italy, that everyone is so rushing to everywhere and everyone's hoarding. It's like chaotic everywhere in the streets and everywhere. But here it's like very chill.
People are more chilled.
Yeah, you take the bike, you go slowly everywhere. It's like a very, very different experience.
Okay,
Yeah.
and can we go back to you and the scheduling?
Yeah.
So you said it briefly, right? So maybe you could give like a more concrete like explanation, like how you said is how it's different in Spain. Because scheduling, you said you can't do it, but how do people do it in Spain?
No, of course we schedule things, but I feel like here everything is taking you to schedule like the gym, the food, the social life, like everything. And maybe I'm more spontaneous, so I think what I want to do today, what I want to do this afternoon, and everyone is booked already because I'm late,
So you feel it's a more hyper scheduled society per se. You guys are more laid back and spontaneous, like you said.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Interesting.
No, here it's more organized. I know, but
no, I get you.
I want to go more with the
I'm
flow.
the same. Like my culture's the same.
Yeah, right?
When I moved here, it was very difficult to follow the
rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely. That too. But
Yeah, so for me, it's the lack of directness. Like I used to being very direct here in the Netherlands. And now when I go back to Poland, and I follow this approach, sometimes I come off as rude at my own home country. So I would say that's the biggest one for me. Okay. And you?
Nice. For me, it's, can I swear?
yeah, you can say
Yeah. So for me, it's going back to my home country and finding that there's a lot more good food and I have a lot of choices and it's cheap and it's not just shit. Because like, I don't know if you know about like Dutch cuisine. Like I don't really think that they have a big cuisine here. It's like a lot of potatoes, not a lot of spices, which doesn't make sense because they've had a lot of spices for like the past 500 years and they've never fucking used it in any of their food. They just go to fucking these places and get all the shit without using it. So yeah, I'd say the food thing is big for me.
But what I want to talk about is like the contactless culture that's here in the Netherlands. I can just go grab a few groceries and pay with my phone, Apple Pay, which is kind of a strain on my bank account at the moment. But I can pay with my card and never, actually when I say this, I mean never, they'll never ask you to pay in cash unless like it's maybe like a public event outside and you can somehow pay for cash. But most times, 9 times out of 10, you will pay with your card. And I think when you go back to Zimbabwe, it's not the case because like in Zimbabwe, we use US dollar almost everywhere we go and rarely do we ever use our own card. So I think that's definitely like a reverse culture shock because when I go back to Zimbabwe, I now have to find like US dollars to go to clubs or to go to a store and pay for things. So I'll be using cash.
Yeah, Apple Pay doesn't work, so it's funny.
It's funny because you could ask David the same questions and he can answer the same thing.
It's pretty similar for me.
Yeah.
Probably how Dutchies plan everything. Like in Mexico, we just swing and be like, hey, do you want to do something on Friday? And it's like, yeah, we can meet. And here it's like, do you want to do something on Friday? And it's like, yes, I have until 3 weeks from here free. So yeah, that's one cultural difference.
Okay, so what, like times you've tried to meet up friends, you always had to plan how much in advance would you say, usually?
In Mexico, like 30 minutes.
And here?
Like, I don't know, 3 weeks, 1 month.
Just for like a get together to have drinks or something?
Exactly.
Okay, interesting, yeah. And do you have any other ones or that's it?
And the directness. I think in Mexico we make everything so sweet. And first we compliment and then we give our feedback, kind of. And here it's like feedback. I'm just gonna tell you.
Okay, no cushion. Just straight to the point.
But I like it.
Oh, you prefer it that way?
Yeah, I think it's really nice.
Okay. So I guess that's how you are now, or like, so it depends who you're talking to.
Exactly, it depends.
Okay, nice. So yeah, guys, that was part 2 of the Reverse Culture Shocks video. And I just found it so interesting how you can actually get used to a new place so much that you can end up forgetting part of your old home, you know? But anyways, guys, this is the end of the video. So guys, please do me a favor and make sure you go like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.